Where you at? You with those guys from Bourbon Street. All names have been changed to protect the guilty. I'm your host, Joey Alonzo. Disclaimer, there will be language, so get the kids out now. Now. They gotta go. They gotta go. Get them out. You can hear stories that you think there's no way, no possible way these stories could be true. They are. But if you hear your name in a story that sounds a bit familiar, hey, just a coincidence. My partners in crime,
Pete Torito.
Pedro Lucero.
Hey guys.
What's happening, man?
What's happening? Who's the new guy?
My friend Tim Robertson, one of the best, if you don't mind me saying so, one of the best guitarists on Bourbon Street. I love him dearly.
Why do people always say, if you don't mind me saying, when you're about to say something really nice?
Well, because he might be shy.
Oh, is it the shyness?
Shy humility. Hi.
Hi, Tim. The humility.
It's the humility.
Yay, Tim. Tim is our first guest on the show, folks.
Hey.
Our very first guest. And only because he's working next door. We pulled him off the stage and said, we have candy next door.
And he said, I'm not stupid. I got to see the candy this
I
time.
love candy.
Well, welcome, Tim. Welcome, Tim.
Well, thanks for having
me. Great to have you on the show.
Happy to be here, baby.
So yeah, man. Let's first off, Joey, you know what time it is before we talk about Tim.
Oh shit. It's a little history lesson on Bourbon Street.
It's a magical time.
I need that again. I like that sound. Something you did not know, something I did not know, and I briefly touched about it last week. I always thought that the Royal Sonesta Hotel in Bourbon had been there forever. Not true. It used to be the Regal Brewery.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
That's it, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I did not know.
Did you really not know that?
No.
Get out.
I honestly did not know.
That's where it was a brewery right there. I always thought they'd been here forever.
Fired.
I always thought they were here forever. Always. But no, it was a brewery.
And
Be damned.
Yeah.
I forgot the old lady's name that cooked there. Basically one of the first restaurants in New
old
Orleans.
lady
There was an old lady that
that
cooked there.
cooked
Like
there.
I'm like 100 years ago, maybe more. And
You were here?
Yes, I was 23. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Him and Moses were taking it.
I'd walk in and she'd go, "You again, you bastard!" I was like,
Where, at the brewery or?
no, God, and there was a restaurant named for her. Now, and I can't think of the freaking name of it.
Where though? I mean, was
Some
it
old
like
lady.
Copper
They
Monkey
called
or-
some old lady.
It was It was a Samoan restaurant.
Was it where?
Where?
Was
Where?
it? Yeah. Was it?
Was it on Conti? Where? Were you?
In the Royal Sonesta.
Oh,
was
in the Royal
in the-
Sonesta.
In the Royal
Yes.
Sonesta. Like,
Okay.
it was part of that. She was like one of the first restaurants in the city, besides Antoine's. I said one of.
Okay.
Which could mean
I
2,
had no
it could
idea.
mean 80. I'm leaving myself open to someone calling in going, "You got it wrong." I said one of.
I
Dude,
did not know.
Blake Pontchartrain could chime in on that.
Yeah.
To do the right sort of
Yes.
gambit.
Yes.
Yes.
Or actually, Blake could be a lady. I mean,
I don't
don't know him or her.
If any of you folks out there want to know more about the Royal Sonesta, Google it. Don't ask
Yeah,
us.
pretty much.
Obviously,
Pretty
we
much
don't know that much.
We
but,
know about this
but
much.
we know enough to get us in the beginning of the show. But now,
Right.
let's welcome to the stage. Wait, wrong button.
That would be the story of our lives.
Tim, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your experiences on Bourbon Street, how you came to Bourbon Street, and then, by all means, man, like, tell us your story, dude. You got a lot of good stories.
Hell, I want to know how long you've been playing guitar.
Okay, so I played like other instruments as a little kid, and then I did sports, so I stopped playing all music.
Xylophone?
Yeah.
See, I played that.
Piano, clarinet. And then,
Wait,
yeah,
wait, hold on. The good piano or the ding 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 ding.
The upright
The Fisher
piano
Price.
that I played
Yeah, the
as a
Fisher
child
Price.
is in my house.
Yeah, you played it
really?
up.
Oh, nice.
So we had a little upright piano. So I
Oh,
played.
nice.
I used to accompany, like, you know, when you have your little assembly at the end of the year and the kids sing the song. I played "Here We Come a Caroling" at one time, and an American is a Very Lucky Man, which I think is a musical number. I don't know. It was one of those doop doop boop doop boop doop boop doop kind of tunes. So then I quit music for my junior and high school years, and then the summer before I went to college, I started playing guitar again.
Wait, you quit in your junior? That's when all the chicks are.
I know,
coming
dude.
around,
That's what I was about to
That's
say,
when you get
man.
band.
That's what I sang the
I
most.
had a
Trying
band
to
when
get
I was a
laid.
junior and senior in high school.
Yeah, so I didn't play at all for many years, and then I got into guitar, and then went to college. I was a track athlete, and then I got injured, and I started playing guitar like 8 hours a day. And by the time I graduated college, I was like, I'm going to be a professional musician. I didn't tell anybody else that. I told myself I was going to be that.
That works.
And then a year and a half later, I told my parents, hey, I'm moving to New Orleans. And my dad goes,
Why?
and I was like, well, I'm going to be a professional guitar player. And he's like, how? And I was like, well, I don't really know. But I'm going to go.
That's the beauty, the journey. It's all not
I'll
about
go
the
figure that
destination,
out.
it's how you get there.
So where were you coming from?
So I was born in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I went to college in Durham, North Carolina. I went to Duke University. And so then while my senior year at Duke, I came to Mardi Gras. So
Well,
the
that'll
first time
screw you up forever.
So the
Yeah,
first
you
time I was ever
never
on
go back.
Bourbon Street would have been February or March of 1993.
Oh, wow.
So then I came here, and we partied like rock stars, and we had a fun time. But I walked from the quarter to Tipitina's twice. Sorry.
Because you're a runner and you're in
Twice.
shit.
Yeah, but I was with other people. in
That's okay. I
coats.
walked here from Rampart Street.
I couldn't
almost
go.
died, yeah.
I had to keep like slowing down and waiting for people to catch
Wait
up.
up!
Yeah.
Wait up!
All the way to Tips. I did it twice.
If you could spell Chapatoulas, then I'll wait for you. But
TCHOUPITOULAS.
Yep. Also, I practiced it. Just
Did you?
not for this podcast. But
did you
You
really?
really practice it for the podcast?
I just felt like I should know how to spell it.
He's sitting up all night going, T-Z, damn it! Yeah, Pete, I can't do the podcast.
It's a phonetic word though. Chow.
Yeah.
Petulus.
That's
It's a
it.
chow.
That's it.
It's a chow.
Like
Ka-chow,
chipotle.
like ka-chow.
So then I ended up back here, and I moved here, and then somehow Mark Laiuza got my name.
God bless him.
Oh,
man.
Mark.
And so he hired me to be in the band Big Trouble, which was
That's where I know you from.
Scott Frischer, Scotty D, Scott Frischer's.
Wait, you just missed that. He literally did not know who you were until now.
That's where I know you
I
from.
was going to say, I know you know.
He's like,
I know
That's
you
where
know.
Who is this guy sitting next to me?
I didn't know.
Now you know.
Who's the guy?
Oh
Oh,
my God,
no.
Big Trouble. Yeah, I remember.
So, and then Mark was playing bass with his left hand and keys, and Andre and Damon was singing.
Wow.
Yeah.
We miss you, buddy.
Yeah, we miss you, buddy.
Every day.
And I guess Tom Fouquet was
Tom
the
Fouquet.
guitarist, and then he had a freak out. And so
No.
this is what I heard. So he had a freak out, and then so he was out of the picture. So then I got hired, and I really didn't understand like how these gigs work. I had a pretty good
7.5
year.
hours.
But also just like learning things.
Wait, how many years have you been out here?
Well, that would have been.
You said 93?
But that was
That was first.
during the Mardi Gras. I was probably 96.
96.
When I-
Do you still know how things work out here?
Well, I know how they work. I know how they work for a musician.
I'm vaguely familiar.
With bands, I know how they work. Though,
Yeah.
where it's like
Yeah.
you got to learn this. Because anyway, so the issue that we were having is I didn't know the material like Tom did. So the other band members, not Mark, were not happy with me. And so I was just ignoring this because I'm like 24, or 25. I don't care. I just have this gig. I didn't take it real seriously, and Mark kept trying to tell me like,
Dude.
"Hey, you gotta learn the actual parts of the songs." I was like, "Why?" They're
Parts
not-
to the song?
I was like, "They're not listening." And he goes, "Yeah, but the other people in the band are." And I
Right.
was like, "Ah."
Took it very seriously.
So 3 weeks in, I got fired. So that was my first firing on Bourbon Street, and I was really not that upset. I was like, whatever. do the happy hour at the Seaport Cafe.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I used to do that. So I used to play the happy hour, and that gig was super
I
loose.
feel old now.
Yeah.
Super loose, still no detail. You know what I mean? Like I haven't really learned anything. It was an anomaly of a gig. You know, it was super short. Chris Brewer was on bass, so we weren't allowed to drink at the gig anymore because he used to have 5 Long Island iced teas, and then you'd have to like carry him out. Oh, there's another R.I.P. Chris Brewer.
Yeah, God bless him.
I
forgot about that.
Look, I mean, I hate to be tasteless, but Chris Brewer was in the Deadpool. He was in a small group of people who were like, "Who's going to go first?" And I mean, there was a little bit of gambling.
I will tell you now, I was
He
in
didn't
that
lose.
pool for a while.
Were you?
Oh wait, no, he
really
did
was.
win. You were in the pool.
I was in the pool.
You were in the Deadpool.
Wow.
So
That's fucking scary is what that is. I was in the I thought I died in 1999. I don't remember, but yeah, I really did. But that's funny, dude.
If we'd have had social media back
Sicilian.
in the 90s the way we do now, people would have totally been like, "Did you hear so-and-so is dead?" No, I'm right here. Like, it would totally happen on a regular basis.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So my way back to Bourbon Street was I had started to climb career-wise. I was playing on the other side of I was playing on Frenchman Street a lot. When Frenchman Street was a little bit different. It was kind of the anything goes part of town.
Yeah.
Right.
There were rock bands over there. We were kind of anything goes stuff. Very fun time in life. But I had gotten a offer to, I think Cranston Clemens actually referred me. And it was this girl singer, and she had done some shit in Nashville, and she had these gigs at the Long Bar at the Grand Casino in Biloxi. The Long Bar, that's the one that went into the ocean for Katrina.
Yeah. Not on purpose.
Everything I
longer the
touch
Long
turns
Bar.
to gold. And so,
It's still out there somewhere.
There's that one person still trying to pull it, which is great.
so Troy Jones was running the band.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I auditioned, got the gig, and that was serious. That was the first band I was ever in where it was just like, this is your part. This is your singing part. We rehearse it over and over again. So
I'm sorry, what was that word?
rehearse. Yes, we rehearsed.
I don't know what that is.
And I used to have to drive to Poplarville, Mississippi to rehearse. So not only did I rehearse, I was driving to rehearse.
Whoa.
They didn't like you.
So no, that was the deal. The bass player was from Vegas. Like they
He
had
drove in from Vegas?
No, he flew in,
I'm kidding.
but he was getting put up and stuff. And then there was some Nashville guy that came down and was supposed to be a hot shot. He clearly didn't get the vibe of the thing, and he just. We took a break. At one point, he packed his shit and just drove.
Welcome to Bourbon Street, man.
No, this isn't Bourbon Street. This is how I got back to Bourbon
okay,
Street.
okay, all
Oh,
So,
shit.
so then they have to get somebody on short notice, and so I'm going in to set up for the first gig where you're going to play for the week, and it's Mark Liuzza again. And so when we played together that time, I had obviously jumped levels in terms of
Did he give you the
playing
book?
things specifically. No, we just had a wonderful time together because we always got along
I love
great.
playing with Mark.
And so then he was running the music for Phil.
Right.
Yes, he was.
So then we ran into each other, and he was complaining about the day band back then. And then, so I said, okay, I'll go down there and check it out. And again, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus.
Right.
I went to the gig, and it was not good. And it's not that it wasn't.
Well, we're all licensed bus drivers here.
We do not
Yeah, it tells anything.
I got people in back of me with tire tracks like you wouldn't believe, baby. I'm okay with it.
Okay, so you want me to tell you who it was? He's still around.
That took some convincing.
So,
Just change the name.
okay.
All names have been changed to protect the
That's right. So let's call him Harold Trombone,
Harold Trombone.
who likes guitar playing. So let's just say that every song had a 9-minute guitar solo.
Oh my
And I play guitar, and that's just awful.
When you're sitting there like this.
So I went back to Liuzza. I went back to Liuzza and I said, hey, I promise you, I will not do worse than that. So then he's like, all right, I'll keep that in mind.
I 100% know who you're talking about.
So he calls.
I was managing, I think.
So he calls me a week later and says, I saw this kid sitting in out at Landry's. Do you know a drummer? And at the time, I was playing.
Best hair on bourbon.
I was playing with Eddie Christmas. We were playing in a couple of bands together, and so I was like, I do know a guy. So then he's like, okay. He goes, you run the band on stage. Make sure he is the focal point of the show.
The 12-year-old.
This kid.
I
was like,
Eddie, what a good guy.
and I was like,
Eddie, Eddie's the 12-year-old.
He
Eddie's
was-
the one with the best
he
hair
was
on bourbon.
Eddie Christmas.
he was
I know.
young too though,
Best
at the
hair.
time. He was like 21. So
Was he
I was like,
really?
Yeah, he's young.
God bless him. He didn't look
So,
21.
so I was like 30 and they call me Papa in the band. So we show up, Mark is playing his part. He names us the Unlucky
I
Dogs.
remember that.
Yep.
The first day, he was like, how about the Unlucky Dogs? I was like, great name. So then he goes,
Six.
It's a great
I
name.
want you to, and then the next week, because I was counting on him being there. He's such an anchor.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want you to try this guy out, Jerry.
Flash.
Jerry Flash, Jerry Plaisance. So Jerry came over to my house because we were going to rehearse, and we went over like half of like 4 songs, like shot the shit for an hour and a half, and then he's like, oh man, you know what I mean? And then
That's how.
That's how you rehearse on bourbon.
yeah,
That's a
and
rehearsal.
So
That's a
then,
rehearsal.
so then we met the next day, and Mark's like, I'm just gonna have Jerry do the first set, and then I'll finish up. So we show up, start playing. Mark never shows up, and that was the band from
That was
there.
the Unlucky Dogs.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of
And that
really
singer's name was.
Brendan Foray. Sorry.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Played the same if there was 300 or 3 people.
He
Yeah.
was on
Always.
fire.
Yeah.
At all
always.
times.
Always.
Yep.
And the thing I remember most about him is I didn't really, I mean, I knew him, I met him right then and there. That was the first time I ever saw Brandon Ford. And I walked in and I think I asked you, why is a 12-year-old on stage? Because he looked like, I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
He looked
Baby.
so. He was
really?
19,
Baby.
but he
Yeah.
looked
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
young.
And his voice was like, Steve Perry high.
But
at
also,
the
he
time.
sung soul music like well.
I know. Like, how do you live
So
that?
every female 30 or older
Panties were flying on
would just
stage.
come
baby.
into the club, and so we just slammed that time slot.
And
Really
remember
had a good
when
time.
Brandon said, I'm going to play saxophone. We're like, oh, cool, all right, good to go. And he goes, "What, you, Jesus. Can you hear that?
Yeah, it's all coming from Joey.
Oh, it is coming. Oh, it is. That's coming from
It's
your mic.
jamming,
That's a
man.
nice mic.
It is.
That's
It's
a
too
good,
nice. I need to
that's
get a
a
cheap
good
one.
mic. I just heard somebody over there going, hey, bro, I bet you I can tell you where you got that cheap.
Nice, yeah, I can too.
So here's what's great
But
about.
wait. Once again,
Guess that sound.
No,
oh, I was going to say, once again, Pete can't finish a story. Brandon says, I'm going to play saxophone. I'm like, oh, cool. Great. You play sax? And he goes, no. He goes, no, I'm going to buy a sax. I'm like, wait, you don't play the saxophone? It's a reed instrument. Not the easiest thing to just
Right.
pick up.
Right.
So he went, what, like a $3,000 sax or
I don't
something
know.
stupid.
He went home and just started practicing.
2 weeks later, that kid came back wailing, man. He was
Right.
wailing on the sax.
But he was smart the way he learned it. Instead of trying to be like, to treat it like sort of like an academic process, I think he was just like, this is the kind of music I play. I'm gonna learn the stuff that fits that stuff first, and then I'll learn the rest of that other stuff later. So it was like, he just honed in on, I'm gonna make sure that on that, I'm gonna sound good.
And he did.
And he did.
Oh my God, did he?
And then you would walk around the room with the tip jar in one hand, and you'd be playing the sax with this hand.
I hated him, man. I was like,
Oh,
you
it was
kidding
so
me?
great. No, it was the best. I didn't have, all I had to do was call the song. Just,
Yeah.
That's it.
I have no musical ability when it comes to instruments. I picked up a tambourine
We
once.
know that.
Look, I'm just gonna go.
That's why you walked around with the tip bucket.
I would walk in, like when I was in a band, and every musician is carrying like 5,000 pounds of luggage. I would walk in and go, "You got a house mic? Yeah, I'll be at the bar." And I would just walk in. Later, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't even pack luggage when I go on vacation. I would just bring enough money to buy shit.
That's it.
And then donate it to the poor.
you go.
I'm actually kidding about that. I never donated. But,
So, and back to your story, and you probably remember better than I do, when these guys did the Unlucky Dogs, it was kind of like a turning point for Famous Store.
It kind
right?
of was.
Because I remember at one point we were struggling. We kind of the whole taking over. A few years went by, and it was just this. What do we do for daytime?
Was that when Phil took it over?
Yeah. Well, that was after.
It was after that. It was after.
Yeah, because I mean, I started in '91. Phil and John had it.
Well, John had it when I was there.
Right, John had it, and then Phil partnered with him with Razoo. But we had like a Dixieland jazz band daytime.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were good, but the 5 people that were there enjoyed them, and that was it.
The
Dixieland
times
jazz was going out.
were starting to change.
And that was what our generation on the street was. The times changed so much. It was, and then you guys were there like at the right time.
Also, I can remember when Showtime was playing at
Showtime!
Jeff Hicks Showtime! Oh, dude, nobody did a better Jeff Hicks than Scott Ballard.
Scott Ballard did, dude, amazing.
With the Budweiser on his pinky, and he'd be going.
Yeah.
Well, we played the other night. I couldn't get out there, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, I missed it.
Oh, man, I've gotten to work with him. I never got to work with him back then. He was just running that band. I wasn't doing other shit. I've actually got to work with him now.
I was managing Razoo when Hicks was playing. That's about all I can remember now. Anyway, but I remember, I'm trying to remember who else was in the band, and it's gone. And I'm back.
When he would get angry, he would take that mic
Into the monitors, baby.
Oh, yeah.
into the drop C, like, fucking goddamn it.
I could replace a drop ceiling. I can't replace 3 monitors in a night. Every single monitor was
Yeah,
shattered.
but Phil used to just take it off his bill. I thought. Like, instead of getting into it with him.
It was easier to
No, he did it a few times. I remember. It was the last time that it was finally taken out of his check, and he's like, I'm not doing that again.
I can't do this crap again.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Did he mean smash a mic stand into a monitor or what?
Yeah.
Monitor.
Okay, because I've seen it
Yeah,
with
because monitors, you
They're
have to have
expensive.
them, and
Yeah.
they're expensive.
I mean, they're a few dollars, but when you break 3 in a night, I'm like,
There you
Jeff,
go.
yeah.
It's too many.
Now we're doing without monitors.
There you go.
Too many.
And I love you, Jeff.
And it affects everybody else.
Jay Kutcher's the only person I've never actually worked with on the street.
Jay.
Yeah, mainly because of his hair. I just envied that hair so much. He had the big, the big pompadour thing. I'm lumping into everything.
Really?
Well, it's probably the half gallon of coffee.
Maybe.
I don't know. I could
Or
be
the
wrong.
number 6s.
Or
I told you, stick with the 3s.
So Unlucky Dogs, and from the Unlucky Dogs,
Oh, wait,
then
we have
there
a
was
guest.
Katrina.
But not even to there. Then I also started doing the daytime RTL thing they put down the street. So I would do the Unlucky Dogs, and then I would go play with Smarty Jones.
Yeah.
Smarty Jones, baby.
With the
RTL,
most,
yeah.
we had local fans. Very
Yes.
rare for a Bourbon Street band. Hurricane
That was
Bobby
at the Rooster,
Sanchez.
right?
No,
At the Rooster?
it
No.
was at the BBC.
BBC.
Hurricane
Smarty
Bobby
Jones.
Sanchez used to come, and I would drink like 9 shots of Sambuca, which is not easy to do.
Wow.
Wait, you took Ted Torres' spot.
No, I worked with him. He was.
Ted was bass.
He didn't play bass in that band. It was Bill Richards, me, and Chris Davis.
Okay.
And then Bobby and Doble Ted Torres. Ted Torres were the lead singers.
Oh, yeah, he was.
And
Because I think the only person they lost was Sal, the drummer, right? When they left Raging Rooster and came down to BBC. They used to have Sal. He was the drummer. And he's the only one they lost.
See, now I feel like an addict, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't remember these things, and then I start going, oh, you see, I went on and off. I'd work for about 3 years, I'd
Yeah.
go away for a year. I'd work for 5 years and go away for 2 years. So that must have. Okay.
I think you have. No,
I thought I was just having.
That's a perfect moment so we can talk about Joey and then
I don't remember the
King
80s.
Koboloba. It helps the memory.
I can never remember the name of that stuff, though. That's the problem.
Cuba Libre?
Huh?
Cuba Libres.
Cuba Libre's screw up the
That's-
memory.
that's
Trust me. Also, it was the 80s and cocaine was cheap.
So we're
Very
at
cheap.
BBC.
so I did that up until, and then
I love him.
we kept getting warned about inside jokes. on stage.
We get the same
I
warning.
remember.
We
that.
got so many warnings.
I remember that.
And
yes.
we just and Chris Davis used to do this thing about, you know, like it would start as like a speech about the troops, but it would get to the end, but the punchline was like the U.S. Postal Service, and then you know, but everything he said, I mean, it totally checked out. He would just be like, you know, because really without them. You know, I'm saying, yeah, exactly. Like, you know, and then you would get to the end and be like, the U.S. Postal Service, and then half the crowd would be like, yeah, and then the other half would be like, why? And it was hysterical, and we just kept getting warned. We kept adding Smarty Jones into like almost every song, and then we kept getting warned, and then at some point we got fired again. And so then that time was great because Ted Torres was fucking wasted, and he's upstairs because in those days, you know, we had it was 3 for 1 upstairs, and we'd get
at BBC, baby.
We'd get 5 cards
upstairs
all night long.
3 cards, 3 for 1.
Long.
9 drinks per band member.
Yeah,
that's a little crazy.
Yeah, it's out of control. Unnecessary, actually, I would say.
Yeah.
But
Had I gotten that, I wouldn't have spent so much money. You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you'd have money.
I'd have at
You could
least
afford the 6s and not the 3s.
I'd have at least $1 today. It's enough with the private jokes.
Wait a minute.
So Ted is just
Blasted.
and he's just kept saying the wound's still fresh. About getting fired, and then like Chris Davis and I were like laughing, like toasting each other, like
We got fired again.
well, if you're gonna be. That's the thing you learn about here. If you're not really like mean to somebody or like really go over the line, you'll be back.
Make a phone call on the way home. You got a gig.
The other thing too is that Brad Lewis destroyed his guitar
On stage.
in the middle of a 4-day bender and
It was
stormed
a
out,
hoop-
and he was back at work 3 days later.
It was
I
a
was
hoop
like,
concert.
I guess you can't get fired from this town.
We all talked to that in past episodes, how we literally leave from one place after getting fired for whatever reason. Within, hey, so I heard you're not working. You want to come?
Weren't even out the door.
Yeah.
Weren't even out the door. Hey, I heard you looking for a job.
Or it was, I just got fired. And it was like, oh, again, what could you start?
Right.
Next Monday. I'm just going to start next Monday. Taking a freaking week off.
All right, so we're running short on time for this episode, folks.
Right.
We're gonna pick up again in our next episode. Tim's gonna be here as well. We're gonna talk about after he left BBC, where they ended up and where he is now. So, guys.
You know what? Hey,
Tim, wrong one.
but you know what? You guys stick and stay, don't go away. We're glad you're coming around on this journey with us. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook, 2 Guys from Bourbon. Instagram, Those Guys from Bourbon Street. So you guys come back and see us.
And TikTok.
And YouTube.
Yeah, what's the TikTok?
And YouTube.
TGFBS podcast.
These. Oh no, I'm sorry.
TG.
These guys, those guys,
BS.
Those guys.
Podcast.
Those guys. And yeah, we could do that. Anyhow, guys, come back and see us. And next time, don't forget to bring your friends. Remember, it's all fun and games till somebody gets hurt. Scotty, beam us up.
Stick around for part 2 of Tim.
The guy knocking, is he in the Jehovah's Witness relocation program? I'm just asking.
Is that your friend Jimmy?